In the 64th match of the Indian Premier League 2024, Delhi Capitals will confront Lucknow Super Giants today at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Both teams have themselves have a slight position and have an outside chance to make it to the semi-final. Well, the table led by Rishabh Pant, the Delhi team has won 6 out of their 13 matches, while Lucknow has won 6 out of their 12 matches with 12 points each. Both teams are vying for a playoff spot, although Lucknow has 2 league matches remaining while Delhi has just one. However, despite the head-to-head record favouring Lucknow with 3 wins out of 4 encounters playing in Delhi as unpredictable element, interestingly, in the past clashes, neither team has managed to surpass the 200-run mark, with Delhi highest score against Lucknow being 189 runs, and Lucknow's highest score against Delhi is 195. Yesterday's match between Gujarat Titans and KKR was cancelled due to rain, effectively eliminating Gujarat from the playoff contention. Kolkata secured the place at the top 2 points gained from the abandoned match, reaching a total of 19 points, with Gujarat only able to attain a maximum of 13 points, even with a win in their upcoming matches. Kolkata has 2 top finishes assured. This cancellation also dashes the hopes of other teams reaching into the entire scheme of things. But again, to talk more about the possibilities, we're joined by somebody who's in London. His name is David Brooks, a great punter. He's got a sense of who to bet on, when to bet, and when to apologize and move on, like a typical Englishman. Also joining us is Noel David, the former international cricketer from India, an electrifying fielder, now a cricket coach, and an amazing brain behind the wickets. Of course, Paul Dinette, our cricket broadcaster from Australia, who we've managed to ship him from Sydney, who's currently outside the Arun Jaitley Stadium. We're trying to get him whenever we can, and also making the studio debut is Stanley Chiodza, the former Zimbabwean junior cricketer and the current senior coach, bowling coach for Zimbabwe. Welcome you all on the show. I'll start off with David Brooks. David, what do we have in store? We are almost in the last game for Delhi, and they still seem to sniff with a chance. Do you think it's a good, healthy sign for IPL and the fans?
Well, it is. I mean, I welcome back Rishabh Pant. We really missed him. Delhi really missed him when he was serving that 1-match suspension. So it's good to have him back. And that, Sunil, that could be the difference today. Because the image in my mind from LSG's last match is seeing the captain, KS Rao, getting that dressing down from the owner. It looked like the owner wasn't happy. And it's not what you want to see. You don't want to see necessarily direct criticism on the field. And we can just see Paul outside the stadium. So I better keep my part through.
I will just stop you there and get Paul Dinette, who's outside the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Paul, what are you doing there?
Hey, Sunil. It's very, very loud here. The atmosphere is absolutely incredible. There's so many people milling around outside the stadium. It's my first ever IPL game. You can hear the atmosphere. I hope it's coming through, but it's really exciting to be here. I'm a bit blown away, a bit lost for words, which is rare for me.
Absolutely. We can't see your pictures. Oh, we see it. I'm very keen to show our fans what you're wearing right now. The T-shirt. Your T-shirt.
I actually can't hear you, Sunil. It's so loud.
Well, this is for the fans. He's wearing a David Boone T-shirt in the Travis Head era. So I think you're in a bit of a... there we go. That's the David Boone T-shirt. I think we are in a bit of a time warp.
I decided that I needed to wear the T-shirt of someone who was equally amply girthed as I am. So I thought David Boone is probably the right size, and it's certainly attracting some attention. Some Indian fans actually remember David Boone, which is quite heartening.
Well, absolutely. He'll be very happy to hear that, considering he's doing his duties at the ICC. We'll shift our focus back to David Brooks. David, please continue with what you were saying. Your Australian friend is actually here. We're waiting for your face-off with him during the Chennai finals. Go on.
I think Yeah, it's going to be wonderful for Paul to experience his first ever IPL match. I wonder how many of our viewers can remember their first IPL match. It's going to be very exciting. And no, I was saying that it's great. I think the two captains are in a different position. Pant is being welcomed back, having missed that game for Delhi. And meanwhile, KS Rao looked like he was on the receiving end of quite a stern talking to, from the Giants owners. So I think looking at the two needy teams who haven't really excelled in this tournament, it is the last chance for them to make an impression. And I just think that with Pant back and with the pressure on KL Rao, I'd rather be Pant today, I think, rather be in his shoes.
Lovely. It's nice to be in Pant's shoes and not in KL Rahul's, of course. Take a step back and welcome Noel David. Noel, we missed your presence in our show, but that's all right. We are finally happy to have you back. Sunrisers Hyderabad, your home team, started off with victories and some abnormal records. Delhi started off with abysmal records. Now look at the way SRH is hoping that some team may lose, and Delhi is hoping that some team loses with a bigger margin and they win even with a bigger margin. So what's going on? Still 64th match, scores haven't settled, the outside winner isn't there. Are you still perplexed?
Yeah, of course. This is the beauty of IPL, you see. It keeps you guessing till the last game, Delhi has an outside chances to qualify, but the equation says a lot to them. They have to win with big margins, with a big net run rate. Sunrisers has to keep up the tempo. They have to keep the same strategy. They have to, keep winning with the whatever margin, with a good margin. The third and fourth place is all in a mixture of blends, where they are RCB is coming from behind. They are looking for a chance. They are looking that this team needs to lose, or this somewhere where they get a little wee chance, get into the qualifier. So this is what I say. This is cricket. This is what's the beauty of the game. It keeps you guessing, this IPL. I love this format. Till the last moment, you cannot say who's going to come in. So the 1 and 2 is already they are on top seats, but they are waiting for the third and fourth places to get into the qualifier rounds. And then let's see. Today's game is crucial for DC. DC needs to beat them and get with a big margin, so that they can wait and watch what's going to happen. That's all. Keeping fingers crossed. If Rishabh Pant would have played the last game, I think they would have won the game, because 47 runs, if Rishabh was there, I think it would have been an easy victory for Delhi. But unfortunately, he had to miss out with this thing.
Well, I'll go back to Paul Dinette. Paul, I know you're hearing us. Just nod your head if you are. Well, that's a good enough sign. I just want to ask you, this is a small ground. Maxwell actually enthralled us during the World Cup. What do you have as an Aussie here, apart from the David Boone T-shirt?
Well, I think I caught that. I think that, the exciting thing for tonight is that it's the ground that has had the highest run rate throughout the entire tournament. We've got, I keep on going on about Jake Fraser McGurk, but for good reason. I want him to succeed. There's some other Aussie interest as well. Obviously, the two coaches. If David Warner gets a game, hopefully he can get a few runs. And Ashton Turner, who's playing for LSG, apparently has done nearly nothing in the IPL so far. He's a really talented player. I hope he gets a chance to prove himself. And of course, Marcus Stoinis tends to score a really good score once every 5 or 6 innings. He's probably due. So hopefully we get to see some Australians succeeding for me in the crowd tonight. Absolutely.
We'll let you go with that. Paul, thank you very much. We'll continue with our studio guest. Thank you for joining. I welcome now Stanley Chiozza, the Zimbabwean bowling coach, who's come straight from Dhaka to our studios. Welcome you, Stanley. Well, the question here to you is, what are the new talent that you've managed to see in this IPL?
Well, there's been plenty, isn't it? Especially, I think, if we really look at this match, with regards to this match is concerned, I think Jake Fraser-McGurk has been splendid, over 300 runs in this tournament. But then again, you know, I would like to refer to what David Brooks said, that he would rather be in Richard Pant's shoes as a captain, because it's a tale of two captains. One is going to the World Cup, one isn't. But then again, the one thing that I'm really looking forward about this match is that both teams have their are at full strength. So it's not a playoff match where one team is stronger than the other. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing some good cricket, irrespective of the result that comes out of this match. I know there's a couple of stats that are against Lucknow Super Giants. They've not been scoring quickly. They have the fewest wickets in the tournament. They have to level up. It's a no-brainer at the end of the day to come into this sort of a match and say, okay, we'll leave it to whoever, but they just have to make things happen, unfortunately.
You're the bowling coach. You look at the bowling side of it. Are you disturbed the way the pattern has been with the fast bowlers, with the spinners, with the wrist arm bowlers, the Chinaman, the whatever? Are you upset the way they've been treated in camera number 2?
Not really. I wouldn't say I'm upset. At the end of the day, as a bowler, you just have to respond to the conditions that you're given. As technical staff, your setup of the team, the makeup of it, your tactical response is basically dependent on the surface. And these surfaces have not really been spinner friendly. That's my opinion. That sort of surfaces where seamers have had to play a lot more and use their variations, their changes in pace. Every now and then, I know there's this debate of where the seamers are going a bit more defensive when they start bowling the wide Yorkers.
Right.
But look, at the end of the day, as a bowler, you're out there, you're trying to do what is best in the given conditions. So at the end of the day, a lot of things are said in hindsight, but the bowler who's on the park has the ability to make the right decision and use the options that are available to him.
Absolutely. What is a coach is speaking like a coach, and I'll get another coach onto it to counter it. Noel David, do you think the batters have improved a lot, considering that they know how to negotiate with something called the Yorker, which was a deadly ball, an outside Yorker? Or similarly, you have the slow bouncers, you have the beamers, you have this whatever, the scorchers, the screamers. Do you think the batters have upped their games and the bowlers haven't kept up to the pace? Noel David.
Because if you see this IPL, you know, the wickets have been suited. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah. As I said, you know, this IPL, you know, the wickets has really suited the batters. You know, the high-scoring matches. If you see, most of the teams have scored more than 200 runs in this IPL. That shows the signs of the batting has come a long way. You know, each player, every team, you see they have the batters getting, you know, quick 60s, 50s, and 100s. And I feel that, you know, the best part is that the ground dimension also is a bit smaller, where the ball, you know, ball and the Kokobura ball really a lot faster than the red ball. And you can see a lot of this at full. I think it all comes to, if you boil it down to one thing, is that, you know, I think the conditions, Sunrisers, especially playing at the home ground, the wickets, a solid wicket, you know, when the ball comes to you, the batsman just, you know, goes after the ball. And I feel that, you know, the bowlers, whatever, you know, they need, they had negotiated the depth Yorkers. They know they open the bat face and, you know, slide it down to the deep point. They're negotiating the Yorkers, the slow ones, the slow bouncers, everything has been started to read. If you take the example of Rashid Khan, the initial period of that, they couldn't read him. But later on, they started to read Rashid, and Rashid was unsuccessful this year. So I think the batters are upgrading their batting strength. They are working on in the nets like Surya Kumar Yadav. If you see, he has worked a lot during his sessions. So I feel that you know, as days goes on, you'll see much better players. If you see the Indian domestic cricketers,
David Brooks,
they have come a long way.
Noel made a very interesting point that the batters on the off season, they actually go out and innovate the shots. Do you think the innovation is complete when it comes to bowling?
I think you're making an interesting point there, Sunil. we've seen batters dominating in this tournament, getting better as they hit before. A lot of batters have really got into form and they're starting to play even better as the tournament goes on. And I think it has exposed some of the fairly ordinary bowlers. Maybe there's just not quite enough really strong bowlers. I mean, I'll tell you someone who did respond. Lockie Ferguson in that last game, the one before the rained-off match yesterday, so 2 days ago, we saw the New Zealand quick really getting something out of the surface and making the batters really struggle. We haven't seen enough of that in this tournament. Bowlers thinking, right, how do I counter what is going on? How do I counter the batters? And I thought Lockie Ferguson did a lot to contribute to that victory 2 days ago by the speed, speed through the air, speed off the wicket. And he was asking a lot more questions. And I think you're right. The bowlers need to do a lot. There's a lot more thinking to be done. Rashid Khan's had a disappointing IPL, I'd say.
Yes.
Contrast him with Narayan, who seems to have gone from strength to strength. People still not reading him now. And Narayan is, can often be the difference between two sides, his ability to stop the runs, which few bowlers have been able to do.
Not to forget his batting and fielding, which are absolutely excellent.
Absolutely. And, Narayan showed his all-round game, whereas perhaps, the likes of Rashid have been slightly exposed because they perhaps lack of innovation on their part. So, Khalil is one of the bowlers in action today. I'm looking forward to seeing. I think, he's shown himself responding to conditions. So, him for Delhi Capitals today. But, I think some of the bowlers, some of the ordinary bowling has been exposed. There's not necessarily international quality. And that's why we've been seeing a lot of these really big scores. The quality bowlers, I'm sure, can innovate and keep some hold on the batters. Question of how many of them can stand up and do that today.
Stanley Chiozza, he's made a very interesting point, David, and he often does. And he probes about what's going wrong. And one thing is really sure, which has come out from our stats on the screen right now, on your screen, camera number 2, is that the bowling analysis is pretty weak. The bowlers have been exposed. There is no number 3, 4, 5. In some cases, like RCB, there's not even a bowler number 2 to take on. So therefore, that has been missed. My question to you is, in the era where 150 speed is also hit out of the ground, at a time when the wrist spinners are hit out of the ground, consider what would happen to a bowler like Dermot Reeve, Ronnie Irani, Gavin Larson, Chris, whoever. I'm going to take few names. And do you think it's the end of an era for them?
No, I don't think it's the end of the era. For me, I think as a coach, like I said, the first thing that I do look at is conditions. At the end of the day, are these conditions suitable for fast bowling? Are these conditions suitable for spin? Right. The unfortunate part about the IPL is when these teams are set up, when scouts do they soul searching for the makeup of their teams, they don't get to know what conditions they're going to be playing in. I mean, this IPL has, for me, I have seen some of the flattest pitches. Batting surfaces, it's really been hard to be. I think it would be hard to be a bowling coach in this IPL, let alone be a captain in this IPL, especially with regards to fielding is concerned. So, I mean, you then look at like the captaincy. You look at Hardik Pandya. He struggled, especially when they've been fielding. You look at Shubman Gill. He struggled when they've been fielding. You look at the Faf du Plessis, he struggled. And these are seasoned campaigners.
Absolutely.
These are guys who've played international cricket and league cricket all over the world for so many years. And when you have captains of that nature coming into a tournament of this nature and struggling, then you can't really go hard at them.
Absolutely. You spoke very interestingly about fielding. Let's get in someone who's, to my eyes, was one of the best Indian fielders, who never prolonged his career, but played for India, Noel David. Noel, come back into this discussion. Rewind your life 25 years ago and talk about how fielding you used to do, and those slides and the knees and your elbows used to get bruised, and you guys used to slide at a time when the ground was like as hard as a turf, Just go on. Are these guys missing the trick? Go on. Noel David. I think exactly what injuries did to you. This technology is doing it to your answer. I think it's a sad connection. But we'll come back to this thing in a little later time. David Brooks. David Brooks, what's going wrong with the fielders?
Basically,
Noel David, are you online? If yes, nod your head. If no, we move on to David Brooks. No. So from one David to another, from Noel to David Brooks. Go on.
Well, I think Noel's just got to, he's been a bit frozen there, hasn't he? Look, Sunil, the big talking point here is Jimmy Anderson. The story in London is obviously of Jimmy Anderson being told that his time is up. He's going to play his last Test match against West Indies, and we're hoping that we'll see you over here in London for that one, Sunil.
Yes, for sure. Go on.
Because
Yes, I did say yes, yeah.
Judging when it's the right time, judging when you've get the tap on the shoulder and are told that your time is up, it's always difficult for players. I mean, Stuart Broad got it right when he timed his retirement last time. So, no, I think that a lot of players are calling time on their Test careers early, unlike Jimmy Anderson, who's continued, in order to carve out. Look at Faf du Plessis, no longer burdened with international cricket, and yet showing that he's still capable of really producing the goods in the IPL. So, and Trent Bolt, the trend is for these players to retire early from Test cricket and to give their best in the franchise tournaments. And as far as the IPL is concerned, this one has really convinced me. This is the creme de la creme. It's so much better than the English version, the 100, which no one really knows outside England. The quality of the competition, the quality of the batting, yes, the pitches have been flat. Stanley's right. The pitches have been flat, and that's maybe something that can be looked at. Give the bowlers a little something. But the quality has risen to the top. Jasprit Bumrah, Sunil Narine, these guys, the quality has risen to the top. There just hasn't been enough quality bowlers on display.
Well, two interesting things come out of your observation. First is that 100 is not the creme de la creme, and this is coming from an MCC member who actually votes for Lords. The second point is, if India is so good, if IPL is so good, I still wonder why India hasn't managed to win a T20 trophy in the world, considering they've created the biggest tournament in the world. Stanley Chiodza, does it perplex you?
Not really. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got. Let me liken it to David Brooks, who comes from England, watching the EPL. It's one of the top leagues in football, and then you ask yourself, how is it that with the league of that nature, England has not won the World Cup? Look, these are guys playing with different stars, because at the end of the day, these are teams that are prop up. These are not teams that stay together like for years and years, like what the national team does. So I'm not really perplexed with India not winning the T20, but do they have the team? I think they do. They certainly have the mix. They have the caliber, and I think they have what it takes. They have good leadership for that aspect in Rohit Sharma. They've got good senior players for that matter. And then I guess if I can take you back to that one conversation that we heard early when this tour started, the players that are above 35, should they be in this World Cup tournament? Well, only time will tell. The World Cup will be 6 days after the final of the IPL. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what India brings to the table in this T20 World Cup.
Well, that was Stanley Chiodza, who should be more of a lawyer and less of a coach, because he's just moved on the circle, haven't put his nerves, but that's the nature. He's just come to India, but that's all we had time for. I thank all my guests. Noel David, we will come back to you later sometime on that very pertinent question. I thank Stanley Chiodza, the coach of the Zimbabwean bowling side. David Brooks, the MCC member, the man who always is found on Lords or at Oval, who's joined us, and also Paul Dinnett, who was earlier in the show, joined us from the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Well, keep watching NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.